Jim Anderson.
I don't participate very often in these general debates, and just in the last couple of minutes I know why. What a waste of space that was. Mr Speaker, yesterday I asked the Associate Minister of Health, Peter Dunn, what he had to say about the fact that nearly 3,000 young New Zealanders under 5 years old were admitted to public hospitals to have their teeth removed under general anaesthetic. And he said he was very pleased with the fact that they had access to public hospitals to do that. That really stunned me for an Associate Minister of Health in charge of dental policy to be pleased by that almost blew my mind away. He should be deeply concerned about the fact that 3,000 children are going, and they're the lucky ones, I might tell you, because the others who can't get in are on waiting lists between 6 and 12 months. Dr Beaglehold knows a bit about this. He's the senior dental surgeon at the DHB in Nelson, and he says this: on Tuesdays and Fridays, I spend mornings knocking out children with a general anaesthetic so that I can fix their rotting teeth. The toddlers and preschoolers are so young that they're too little to hold their mouths open long enough to have it done in the regular way, and their baby teeth are so decayed that nothing but filling or extraction can save them. This is the procedure that Peter Dunn is pleased that he has available to these kids. We should be asking ourselves what it is that's doing all this. Well, ask yourself this question: what is the most popular and most sold item in the supermarkets of New Zealand? The answer is a 2.5 litre bottle of Coca-Cola. What is the second most popular item in the supermarkets of New Zealand? The second most popular item is a 1.5 litre bottle of Coca-Cola. And if you go into the supermarkets now, they've got a promotion for the drinks that make All Blacks. These are these Powerade drinks. 16 teaspoons of sugar in each single one of them. And the kids are asked to drink it as quickly as they can, and then they'll become All Blacks. No, they won't. By age 10 to 18, they'll join the 500 type 2 diabetes sufferers between the ages of 10 and 18 that we have at the moment. We have, as we speak, about 350,000 overweight New Zealanders who are type 2 diabetes sufferers. We have another 90,000, roughly a third, that are undetected. And we have an epidemic of dental decay that's coming on us like a tsunami, because all of the people who are at retirement age now, who kept their teeth when years ago our parents used to have them taken out for their birthday at 15 or 16, they are now going to have their teeth looked after. And we are making no provision for that, and I today launched a dental policy to try and do something about it. In the few minutes we have here, we can't detail it all, but let me just say one or two things. I just looked at the Australian situation with regard to, for example, something like fluoride, which in water supply gives over 32% more protection to children's teeth than not having fluoride supply. And if you thought about what that does in terms of the kind of operations that Dr Beaglehold's doing, you'd be inclined to think that should be a matter for public debate. 80% of all of Australians have access to fluoridated water. Even the Queensland state government, which I've never thought of as overly enlightened, a year ago had a meeting in the Parliament where the overwhelming majority voted in favour of extending fluoridation from 54% to the whole state. They voted for it, unanimously practically, and they join the states of New South Wales, which have 92%, South Australia 94%, and Victoria I think around 80%, and so on. And here the whole of New Zealand is 60%, and in my, the mainland island, the South Island, we have very little fluoridation whatever. And so the teeth of the most affluent families in Merridale and so on are much worse of the children than they are in South Auckland, where they have access to fluoridated water. Are we proud of all this? Do we think something should be done about it? Well, we should actually have a national policy on fluoridation. We should have it as a national health measure, not at a local body level where it's far too easy for local body politicians to hide behind the kind of thing we get. I mean, in Christchurch recently, we have had chloride added to our water. quite properly, because if we didn't, there'd be all kinds of endemic diseases that we might be suffering from as we speak. But fluoride, to actually clean it up, fluoride, to actually make sure it's drinkable, chlorine. And yet if you suggested that we added fluoride, which you can't smell or see or taste, there's an uproar. Now, you wonder at the double standards of that. Now, Mr Speaker, I'm just saying my Labor colleagues would be good enough to accept this policy as something that they will look seriously at for their health policy in the incoming election. And because I am retiring at the end of this year, I'm glad that they're doing it and I wish them well.
Simon Bridges.